Welcome to another episode of Extreme Super Ultra Review.
Yay!
And with me is Mr. Foehamner.
Hello, thanks for having me on.
You're always on.
Yeah, I know.
So what is the game for today?
Today we are talking about Devil's Bluff. This is a game that I have been playing for quite a while as one of their beta testers, and it recently, like a fortnight ago, came out on Steam as purchasable.
You mentioned that you've been playing it a little bit, like the past couple of weeks, right? But I saw your Steam is like 40 hours. That's not a little bit.
It's 10 hours?
40.
What?
Yeah.
I'm looking at my Steam right now and it says 10.
Seriously?
For Devil's Bluff?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I have played it more than 40, but in the past 2 weeks, I have not. I'm pretty sure. I probably spent 40 hours working on it, because right now I'm actually working on trying to catalog a lot of the things. So this is part of my review is the game
recent activity is 45 hours. But Devil's Bluff is 10.
Got it.
I was like, okay.
Yeah, I played a lot of Blood Bowl this week, so that's probably what really racked up the time. But I've been spending a lot of time on Devil's Bluff, if not actually playing Devil's Bluff, because I recorded a bunch of games and I'm slowly going through them to make like a guide. So the game is a bit of a learning curve. I guess I should explain what the game is. This is going to take several iterations because the game has some layers to it. So the first pass through, the game is 6 teams of 2 players at the most. You can have less. At the minimum, you can have 6 players, each one on their own team, or 3 teams of 2. 6 players is the minimum. 12 players is the maximum. And the goal is to get, I think it's 16 items first, and that's how you win. And the way that works is there will be a riddle at the bottom of your screen, and that will tell you where to go and what kind of item to look for. And once you get that item, you'll get the next clue, and so on. So that's the first blush. It's just a race, a scavenger hunt kind of race type thing. The second layer to this is one player at random is chosen to be the devil. And this means that they can transform from their normal character into the devil character. So you don't necessarily know who they are. So that's where the bluff comes in, because they can be anyone at any time, technically. And the devil's goal is to kill the other players. So the win conditions, I suppose, are for the players can win by being the first team to get all those items. They can win, all the teams will win if they defeat the devil. And the devil can be defeated if they die, either from traps or hazards in the game, or there is a capture devil mechanic. Basically, every time the devil swings his trident, nasty pitchfork thing, he loses a little bit of stamina bar. So the lower his stamina bar, the easier it is to catch him, and obviously the more players you have working together involved trying to capture the devil, the easier it is to capture him.
Are the traps like triggered by the players?
Yes. Well, so there are traps that are triggered by players, and then there are also static hazards. Like, for example, in the sewers, there are pits of unnamed green slime that if you touch, you take a little bit of damage. And there's falling damage. Because sometimes, for me, my second most favorite method to avoid the devil, if the devil's chasing me, is I'll drop down a hole. The devil can chase you down the hole, but you'll take a little bit of damage and you'll be stunned. And it's also a shortcut if you know your clue is on a level below you and you don't want to run to the stairs or something. So, but yeah, trigger traps are hard to hit opponents with, but they are very effective if you can do it. Partly because they involve you waiting. So
is the level randomized? It's not, right?
For the most part, it's not. The mansion itself has a very static layout. The traps themselves are randomized. So they're in each, let's take a random room. In that room, there will be items that have a little like spyglass, Dr. Sherlock Holmes kind of thing, not doctor. And that means you can interact with them. And some of those things will be hiding spots that you can hide inside. Some of them will be interactable items that will either like open a door for you to go through a secret passageway, and some of them will trigger traps, and you don't know what kind of trap it is or where it will appear until you trigger it. So sometimes it can open a hole or raise spikes in the hallway in front of you. Sometimes it can do that right below you and hit you. So Those sorts of things are random. Where holes are placed are random, but where the rooms are and the layout of the mansion is always the same. And yes.
What about the slapping mechanic? Is that a very big thing?
It's a fairly big thing. So when you're the devil, you have a button to swing your pitchfork to deal damage. And that's the same button that everybody who's not the devil uses to slap each other. And what the slap does is it throws players a good distance back, knocks them on the ground and stuns them for a little bit. This has a couple of uses to it. When you're slapped, you are briefly invulnerable. So you could theoretically use this to save somebody from the devil. More frequently what happens is after the devil hits you, you have your moment of invulnerability, and you should use that to slap him and then run away. Him or her, I suppose.
So you can slap the devil.
You can slap the devil. Slapping does no damage. It's merely kind of disruption kind of thing. Like it's the most effective way to get people to hit traps. If you can trigger the trap and then slap someone into it, or slap somebody into a hole, for example, that's always good. It's one of the reasons the sewers are so dangerous.
One part of the description about the game is fun with backstabbing. It's all about betrayal, backstabbing, and occasionally bitch slapping. You can cooperate to distract, evade, capture, form alliances, turn on each other. But are the games long enough to do this kind of stuff? I mean,
in my experience, all of the good players, when they're
know what to do.
When they're traversing through the mansion, they're taking secret passageways. Because they don't want to be out in the open and risk running into the devil. So there isn't a lot of player interaction, and most of it is slapping players and then running on their way.
But did the devs sort of like hope there was player interaction, but they didn't design the game to require it, kind of a thing?
Yeah, I mean the bluff in the title to me strongly implies that there should be some, like 50% of the game should be like diplomacy, and it's definitely not that much. I mean, whenever the players band together to try and capture the devil, that's always really cool to see people work together that much. But it happens so infrequently that I'm aware of anyway.
And because everybody's racing to get items, right?
Right, everyone's frantically running around. And there's enough secret passageways, I usually don't encounter people within my passageways that I'm taking. And
do you feel if the goal of the game is different, instead of a time-limited scavenging hunt, do you think having a different goal would increase social interaction?
Definitely.
Because I think the both of us agree that we were sort of disappointed or misled a little bit.
So, yeah, I wouldn't necessarily use either of those words, but I would say, just going off the name Devil's Bluff, my expectations were a little, and reading the description, I was expecting something a bit more like Clue, I suppose.
With a mystery.
Yeah, you're trying to solve something. So like maybe, like I don't want to rewrite the game and say the game should be this, because I've been playing the game a lot more for longer runs lately, just trying to do research, and I've been enjoying it quite a bit because the player base has kind of weeded out, so there's actually like some really good people now, which makes it a lot more exciting.
But is that enough people?
That this weekend it's been fine. This weekend I've been able to get into a game whenever I want. But the Steam page right now does have some people complaining about not being able to get into games, which is a legit problem. I mean, it's a problem they kind of created. Because when the game first launched, and all during testing, you could play a single-player game. And I did this a bunch just to learn the layout of the mansion and learn more or less which clues told me to go to which areas of the mansion, because those are the two biggest hurdles. I think when a new player plays this game, my impression is that the two biggest obstacles they have to get over before they start having like a real experience and maybe some real fun. Not that it can't be fun learning, but like before they get to the heart of the game, they have to know the mansion layout and how to get from A to B in the mansion. And having a one-player person able to do that is huge. And they got rid of that because the first week of the game's release, they were noticing a lot of just really small games going on and no big games going on. So what they did is they changed it so you can't start a game unless you have 6 people in the lobby. And since they did that, they started getting complaints that that they have to wait for games now. And I can totally understand. I mean, 6 people, even 6 people isn't really balanced super well. The devil obviously has a much easier time killing 5 people than he does killing 11 people. But I mean, I think, I don't know, if people want to play small games, not letting them is not a good thing. I don't really understand them. I don't know. I know they're working on rolling out, they're very aware of the learning curve to the game, and so they're working on rolling out tutorials, which they tell me now after I'm halfway done with mine. So I'll still finish mine, but definitely theirs will be official and better and funnier probably. I mean, so I haven't really said anything good about the game. I like the game a lot. By far, like, so the thing that appeals to me the most about this game, at the level I'm currently at gameplay-wise, is I draw immense pleasure from picking up a clue, seeing the riddle for the next clue, and in my head, doing the calculations to figure out the multiple routes to get from where I am to where I think it is, and then trying to make the judgment call on, like, the trade-off of speed versus relative safety.
So, do you recommend?
I do recommend it, absolutely.
What kind of players will enjoy this game, do you think?
So, obviously you have to like online multiplayer interaction. Oh, a huge feature of the game we both have neglected to mention. The in-game voice chat. You technically don't have to have a mic to play this game, but if you play this game without a mic, it is a very different experience because the game has local mic. So, if I'm talking, people in close proximity to me in the game can hear me talking, and I will get quieter as I get farther away from them, and vice versa. So if you're hiding in a barrel and the devil's walking by, you have to be quiet, otherwise he'll hear you and know you are close by. And that's huge. I know, talking with other players and coordinating, like, yeah, if you can't talk, none of that diplomacy stuff's gonna happen at all. And so, you know, I wanted to maximize that kind of thing happening. Yeah, so the clues, I guess, my research right now that I'm compiling, there's, like, I think, so you beat the game and you get the 16 clues. There are more than 16 different clues, so you get a random subset of them each game, and they're in a random order and a random place each game. When a player dies, you can loot their corpse and get their items, so you can theoretically, and usually, get items that you have yet to collect. So, when I play the devil, I very rarely go for the kill 11 players. I usually use my devil powers to help me complete the scavenger hunt first, and so I get the win victory for my team. My team and I will win as scavenger hunt completers. I won't get like the devil victory, which is totally fine. A victory is a victory, right? But yeah. I feel like the game devs don't really want you to do that. I don't know. I think it's necessary for the game somewhat, because like let's say it's just the devil and one other person, it could be really tricky for the devil to get that one person. So having them have a out is really nice, but I think they also really want the devil to just be a murdering machine, and there isn't necessarily a super strong incentive for them to do that, which is good, because if the devil turns devil and starts killing people from second 0 of the game, it can be very hard to fight that, because the first clue for the game always puts players somewhere in the middle of the mansion. So you're kind of all clumped up, and the devil can just run around and get like 3 to 4 kills, no sweat. So no, the game is definitely a work in progress, but it's definitely a finished product. It's definitely, I wouldn't feel ripped off for buying this game. I think it's fun. I don't know.
It's currently...
It's very unique, which is why I like it, I think. I can't really think of many other games that...
You can't compare it too much.
Yeah, and I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's $15 on Steam. Developed by KBJ Games. This is their first, like, full retail... I mean, not full retail, you know what I mean. Like, their first
Their first Steam game, right?
Yeah, I think, it's their first Steam game. So yeah, the time of this recording is 33% off, but that's until 12th of November. So I'm not sure when this is gonna go up, but yeah. So yeah, it's $15. So you do recommend it?
I do recommend it, yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's a friendly group of people. Like, when I was first playing, there was a lot of...
Especially if you have friends.
Yeah, totally. It's I would love to see this become the next big like stream party game up there with like speedrunners and gang beasts. I think it could do that. The only problem is there's no way in the game right now to link like your person with your account. So like unless I say I'm Foehamner and I'm playing as the wizard, there's no way to know unless you recognize my voice who's who. And I think that'd be kind of cool.
Okay.
Although yeah.
Okay, so there's technically not really a matchmaking or a party system.
I mean,
yet.
so I just mean like in game. There you can make your own lobbies. Like I can make a lobby and name it, Foehamner's game, and then anybody can join Foehamner's game. I can make it a password or whatever. But yeah, I mean you can play with your deliberate friends and nobody else if you have enough friends.
Okay, so that was a review of Devil's Bluff.
Yeah,
and
get
Mr.
it.
Foehamner
Meet me in the
recommends
lobbies.
it.
Kill me
Yeah.
as the devil. I hate being the devil, so kill me as the devil. It's way more fun that way.
So yeah, $15 on Steam. Go get it. So that's all for this episode of the Extreme Super Ultra Review. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.
Thanks.